Hyundai Creta, ruler of the segment for a while now, and with every passing iteration, the SUV just keeps getting better. But now, the dominance, the throne, is looking slightly under threat by this, the Mahindra Thar Roxx. Compared to the three-door version of the Thar, this one looks much better, many more features, and of course, a great second row, more usable. So today in the video, we're answering the big question, which one of these two SUVs will suit you and your family the most? But before we answer this question, if you still haven't, please do subscribe to Car and Bike, press the bell icon. If you like this video, do share it with everyone you know.
One SUV has broken all records. The other one has had a bumper opening at the box office. And if you're in the market to spend roughly 20 lakh rupees on an imposing set of wheels, chances are you could be considering one of these or both. Be it 5 doors or more features, the Roxx now seems to tick every box in the book, while the Creta has been a bestseller in a very competitive segment and everyone wants one. So stay tuned till the end to find out which one is for you.
The Thar Roxx looks as imposing, as sporty, if not more, when compared to the three-door version of the SUV. Things like a big side step, big square wheel arches, 19-inch alloy wheels all add to the muscular butch appeal of the SUV. Dimension-wise as well, it is much bigger than the Creta in all aspects. You look at the length and width, almost 100 mm more. You look at the wheelbase and the height, much bigger difference. And you come towards the face of the SUV, iconic 6-slot grille is an identity thing on the SUV, and then you get these nice DRLs which make it different from the three-door version. But when you look at the Creta, this one looks more premium and more finished in terms of the way it looks. So the standout feature here are the connecting DRLs, look very nice, and I like the design as well, how beautifully they integrate with the grille of the SUV. Nice use of chrome here as well. However, what's missing here are fog lamps which you get on the Thar Roxx.
The Roxx, of course, is longer than the Thar 3-door but is wider as well, which enhances the butch looks, something that really attracts a lot of Thar buyers. Importantly, the Creta gets a request sensor while the Roxx does not, which doesn't really help with the whole keyless entry idea. While Creta has a ground clearance of 190mm, the Roxx has around 225mm, which makes it more versatile. On the rear, connecting tail lamps on the Creta add to the premium appeal, while the Roxx LED lamps are also likeable and are standard too. When compared to the 3-door, the Roxx has a much longer list of features, which brings it almost at par with Hyundai. Common features include front seat ventilation and electric driver's seat, 10.25-inch touchscreen system, connected car tech, digital cluster, electric parking brake, wireless charging, front parking sensors, and also auto headlamps. Having said that, the touchscreen on the Creta feels more premium and gives better clarity.
So of course there's a long list of features in both the SUVs, which is a great thing, but there are some features that you get only on the Creta and not on the Roxx. What are those features? First is a dual zone climate control, which is a fantastic addition to the SUV. On the Roxx you only get a single zone. Apart from that, what you get here is a tilt and telescopic steering wheel. Telescopic feature is missing on the Roxx, and you also get an air purifier on the Hyundai Creta. Apart from that, what you get is a 12-volt socket here on the first row. So on the Roxx you get an A-type and a C-type, but here in the Creta on the first row you get a 12-volt. In the Roxx, the 12-volt is right behind in the boot. So that's the difference between these two SUVs. And overall, in terms of fit and finish, the panel gaps, the look, the feel, the Creta feels more premium when compared to the Roxx. Sunroof band karo.
Only on the Creta do you get Hindi voice commands, and quality of the 360 view camera is also better. But Roxx has some exclusive features too, like auto wipers, wireless Android Auto connectivity, and a slightly bigger panoramic sunroof. The 9-speaker Harman sound system also feels one up on the 8-speaker Bose unit on the Creta. Maybe it now needs an upgrade, and you can relay maps on the cluster, which adds to safety on the Roxx.
Now when compared to the first row, the second row door is not very wide, not very big, but the good thing is that it opens to 90 degrees, which means entering the car is not so difficult. You get good space here. The problem is side step, it's rather high, so you have to climb this and enter the car, which means it's okay for you as a young person, but if you're old or if there are older people in your family, then they might struggle a bit to get in and out of the Thar on a daily basis. And then when you talk about the comfort and the space, I really like the Thar Roxx. So you look at the knee room or the headroom, even looking at my height, it's quite comfortable here. The thigh support is good and the seat can recline as well, which happens on the Creta also. But overall, I feel that the comfort level is slightly better here on the second row of the Thar Roxx when compared to the Creta. However, a big talking point are these seats and the color, because many are feeling that they'll get dirty very soon, especially when you go out off-roading in a car like the Thar. Mahindra says you can wash them and clean them according to your liking. And this car is rather new, only a month and a half old, so it's not really wise to judge it right now. We'll have to wait for a few months to see how these seats perform in the long term.
Now Mahindra has taken a positive step by offering a mocha brown color option in the cabin on some variants. The Creta second row though gets sunblinds which add to the novelty, and the 60-40 split seats are more flat here, which adds to practicality. It's also easier getting in and out of this one.
Let's look at a critical aspect of both these SUVs, which is the boot space, and the numbers are nearly identical, but they both have their own advantages. So what you get on the Creta is a lower lip, so loading, unloading becomes easier, and it's flat and it's wide, so you can fit in bigger suitcases here. But when you come to the Thar Roxx, there, in terms of volume, you get slightly bigger space, so you can probably, one over the other, you can fit in more luggage pieces here in this SUV. And then you have to remember that you have to first close the upper part and then the lower part. If you don't do that, then the company has given a safety mechanism, which means this plastic box will come and hit the tire and your glass will be safe, which is a good feature on this SUV.
The Roxx has a fantastic road presence which may not be matched even with SUVs belonging to much higher segments. It turns heads and how, and all the angles look equally imposing.
Now, the moment you sit on the driver's seat of the Thar Roxx, the first thing you realize that you're getting a fantastic view both on the front as well as on the rear. So you have a clear big windshield with narrow pillars, and you can see the entire bonnet as well, which gives you a lot of confidence as a driver. And you have big side view mirrors too, which gives you great view on both the sides. And despite the spare wheel mounted on the rear hatch, you can still see a significant part of the road, which is a good thing. So overall, nice visibility on the Thar Roxx. Of course, bigger, more powerful engines when compared to the Creta, higher numbers as well, and they don't disappoint in terms of the way they perform. I'm driving the diesel here, the 2.2-litre diesel, and there's adequate power and torque to help you make your maneuvers both at low speeds and high speeds at different RPM bands. You're not disappointed by the way this engine and this automatic gearbox performs, the one that I'm driving right now.
The big change on the Thar Roxx two-wheel drive is that it doesn't get the 1.5-litre diesel seen on the 3-door version, but the bigger 2.2-litre unit that carries the weight of the car really well. However, power and torque varies depending on the variant. The SUV also gets zip and zoom drive modes along with many terrain modes which help on loose surfaces. Brake locking feature as standard is a worthy addition, and adventure stats on the touchscreen add to the drive feel. There's 650 mm of water wheeling too.
What also impresses are the NVH levels on this diesel. I was expecting a bit more noise and sound inside the cabin, but that is not the case. It's quite refined, quite silent. So, job well done by the company in ensuring a silent cabin even with the diesel engine of the SUV. In terms of handling, it's a mixed bag. We saw this on the first drive of the SUV as well. It's nearly identical to the 3-door version of the SUV, which is a compliment going for it. But still there is scope for improvement in the way the car handles. You throw it around corners and you expect slightly better roll. Now you know this is an SUV and dimensions are quite big, so the roll will be there, but still expectations are set high and there is still scope for improvement with the Thar Roxx. Similar is the case with the ride quality as well, especially when the car is going through bad patches. You feel a lot of them inside the cabin, more so at lower speeds. So at higher speeds, the SUV is able to deal with the undulations in a much better way, but at slower speeds, which is a situation you'll encounter a lot in the city use, in the traffic where you encounter bad patches, that is where you and your family members or friends will feel the the bumps and the potholes a bit more in the cabin of the Thar Roxx.
It clearly shows that this is a ladder on frame chassis and the stiffness is evident in many situations. You will like the Roxx more at high speeds and on smooth tarmac, as tackling the potholes could be more unsettling in this one.
What you also like is the electric power steering here on the Mahindra Thar Roxx. Very easy to use and maneuver. It's extremely light, which means if you're going to use this SUV more in the urban chaos in the city traffic, you're going to find it very easy to drive the car, changing lanes or going through traffic. When you drive the Creta right after the Thar Roxx, you feel like you're driving a much smaller car than it actually is. Such is the impact of a car like the Roxx. It is much bigger and it gives you the dominant feel, which is somewhat missing on the Creta. Though if you look at this car independently, it looks like that perfectly sized SUV built for urban use. So while the driver's seat may not be as high as the Roxx, you still feel quite comfortable sitting here and the view is rather nice. Same for the rear view as well. It is absolutely clear, but that's because of the missing center headrest, which personally I don't like, should have been there. 2 petrol and 1 diesel engine options on the Creta, multiple gearbox options, lot to choose from. There's one for everyone, well, almost. And then there's the Creta N line as well, which adds another dimension to the SUV. We're not talking about that today. Today, let's focus on the base brand, which is the Creta. So while the 1.5 litre naturally aspirated version that comes with a manual and a CVT may not be for the enthusiast, it is really suited to the needs of the city commutes. It gives you decent fuel efficiency as well. And though the response is not great, it works just fine in city traffic. However, the turbo engine is the one that you should be looking for if you love to drive. And even though it's not as powerful or as big as the one seen on the Thar Roxx, it still suffices well for your needs, especially looking at the power to weight ratio of the SUV. The DCT performs really well. That's something that's missing on the Thar Roxx, and as a driver, you like that on the Creta.
The levels of refinement on the Creta are right up there, and the fantastic build quality contributes to that. A sport mode and paddle shifts are exclusively present here and add to the drive experience.
And on both the SUVs, especially on the petrol versions, do not expect a lot of fuel efficiency. I mean, if you use it on an everyday basis in city and on the highway, it could stay in single figures, and that is something you should get used to if you decide to buy one of these two cars. The steering, when compared to the Roxx, is a little heavier, gives you slightly better response and feedback, and you like that as a driver.
Traction and drive modes are present here as well to make the SUV a little more capable in tackling bad terrain.
However, it is the dynamics where the Creta scores really high. So both in terms of handling and ride quality, the car has been right up there for years now. So it doesn't matter if you're going through a bad patch, you're facing bumps, potholes, undulations. The suspension is tuned well to tackle all these challenges, which is good. So you and your family members or your friends can go on for longer hours in the Creta without getting tired. You also get good confidence while cornering, which is a great thing, and the car provides good stability at both high and low speeds. The compact dimensions of the Creta really help here, and it comes across as an all-rounder in almost every sense. Hyundai has taken the lead when it comes to providing good safety on the vehicles, especially looking at a host of level 2 ADAS functions. They really make your drive easier and safer. You get better peace of mind. Mahindra has also done that with the Thar Roxx. So that is something that you like on both these SUVs. Doesn't matter which one you decide to buy.
6 airbags are standard on both SUVs, and so is tire pressure monitoring system. However, rear disc brakes are standard only on the Creta. Finally, the prices, and let's start by comparing the petrol versions. The Creta starts at a much lower 10.99 lakh rupees ex-showroom, while the Roxx starts at 12.99 lakhs for the MX-1 manual. At the top, it is again the Creta that is slightly more expensive, and we are comparing just the two-wheel drive variants here. In diesel too, the Creta starts lower than Roxx, but this top AX7L Auto is more expensive than the top Creta Auto Diesel.
Now, when you compare the 3-door Thar to the Creta, it was more a matter of heart versus mind, where the Thar was heart and the Creta was mind. The Thar Roxx looks like a combination of both heart and mind. It's become so much better, more features, more premium, and of course more space on the second row. However, when it comes to ride comfort and giving comfort to your family on the move, it's still not in the same league as the Creta. The good thing though is that both these SUVs have their own target audience and manage to create an identity of their own, and will continue to chalk new paths in the future. Do tell us in the comments which one of these two SUVs will you go for if you're in the market to buy an SUV in this particular segment. Which one will you select? Which one will you reject? We're waiting to know your answer. Thank you so much for watching.